that was the main thing that we knew that they were going to have to go through when they actually got here. Regardless of how Fellow plays, they just need to make it through until Jerd does get back, because imagine if they lost this one to UNILAD. All of a sudden, that just has such a huge impact on their entire run throughout the Pro League, Phil.
Yeah, it's difficult. I think Splyce are in a hot position. They're making the most of it right now, playing with a sub, and I think, you know, you can only give so much credit to the three on Splyce. I think Felony has done exceptionally well, bar the first map that he played yesterday. I think it's been great, and like Tommy said, his S&D. I actually think Splyce may learn a little bit as well, so it'll be interesting to see how it adapts, but just seeing on social media there, Jerd congratulating the team. He's happy to see his team doing well, so always nice. Yeah,
well, Tommy gave it up to Fellow there, saying that maybe he did kick up the S&D, but before we get to the S&D, let's talk about that first hard point, and in this one, UNILAD chance. This was UNILAD's map.
I mean, yeah, this play right here, by the way, that gives streaks to Wuskins, and that is not a helpful thing to have. It's actually very difficult. Sometimes, you know, your personal experience might be different as a former pro Momo, but sometimes when people aren't moving, you just don't react to it. It looks like a dead body on the ground.
Yeah.
It's just those small things can catch you off guard. So that gives streaks to UNILAD, but then Tommy, again, pointed it out. It was Splyce was just on a absolute tear at the start, and then they just give up a full 60 on the lookout post, so UNILAD can get right back in the game. Of course, though, it literally did come down to the wire. Those final two hills were intense.
This was kind of the moment where Shawnee used his streaks on that winery, and it was individual plays, but Splyce, you can see kind of tunneling through that courtyard there, and it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's kind of only going to end one way. However, Splyce made it a lot closer than it could have been on that last hard point, and this is where, when UNILAD won this map, I was like, my prediction's coming right. I can feel it. I can feel it. And the hype that UNILAD get, the kind of snowball effect, I thought they could really run away with this. But I will say, great showing from UNILAD, and it's the second time we've seen them play very well on that map.
When I saw that first map, when they pulled down that one, I was like, oh no, Momo is just gonna rub this in our face. It's like, I am not looking forward to that next death segment, but sure enough, Momo with his first ever prediction here at the CWL Pro League on the desk.
It's not true.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's just wrong, I think.
Wait, when we had the real host here, Benson,
yeah.
we did it properly, but
man, Montezuma's revenge giving me a job. Something had to do it. Now let's jump into the S&D, the second map of the series, and I think we just have to call attention to that 1v2. All of a sudden, it's just, if Tommy goes off, it can just dismantle a team.
Yeah, Tommy, again, we can talk about this man all day. Every game, every series, this guy was fantastic. There's a moment which hopefully we have on the replay package, or 1v2 from Tommy. I will say, some very aggressive, fast-paced play from both teams. We saw, obviously, Felony, the likes of Shawnee. They kind of have that same play style, but there was a couple occasions which I just didn't agree with, and I think that may have been the communication issue with Fellow on Splyce. But it comes down to a 1v2. And Tommy, of course, is in that 1v2, and we're sat here on the desk, myself and Chance. We were kind of discussing. Here it is. So he dives in, and I think that player right there, so Shawnee dives across, and Wuskin kind of comes in maybe half a second later than he should, in my opinion. I know kind of Chance was saying, you know, they may have thought he was here, and difference of an opinion. I would have just liked to see them challenge together. I felt like it was almost a bit single file. But that right there changed the game.
I mean, my take on it, though, is literally just like Tommy has the sniper, right? So, like, they don't know where he is. They know he's dome area. But he can wrap around mid, though, right? Like, you don't know the situation. You don't know if he's got the sniper, if he'll have the sub in his back pocket. So, as soon as he takes the shot, Wuskin's like, oh, there he is, and he instantly challenges. But, like, how are you supposed to double challenge something where you don't know where the guy is?
He made that sniper shot, missed the first one. No, he didn't take the sniper where Shawnee jumped across, and I think that was the bit which was smart. He didn't take it, so he didn't really reveal his location. And then Shawnee's like, no, I'm okay here. Peeks out, taken down straight away, and Wuskin just a couple of seconds behind. But I think that is where, you know, he wins the 1v2. Splyce starts standing up, Mad Cat's fist bumping his team, and from there, it just falls apart.
It changes the pace of the entire series, and we said it on the desk in a much more positive light. Maven said it in kind of a negative, mean way. But the whole thing is we were drawing parallels between UNILAD and Era. Right? They're both teams that we think could make upsets happen. Maven does touch on something that's really important, though. One of the things with a team like that, a team that you're expecting to potentially make upsets, is there is a certain point in the series where when are they going to make that mistake? When are they going to let something affect them that another team won it? And that's kind of what we see after that 1v2. And then jumping into the CTF chance, it's a very different game.
The CTF was bad. I will say for the Air comparison, I'm not sold on that like in the slightest yet. Like Air was having just egregious problems where they can't use streaks properly, right? And that's something that almost no other team has a problem with. But I think it's credit to Splyce just for outplaying him. Like even in that 1v2, Tommy gets the first kill and then he times it perfectly to where like I'm gonna catch this guy sprinting because on one shot he's definitely gonna challenge. And I give credit for the read from Tommy more than anything else, so definitely not sold on the Air thing yet. Either way, though, sure. Just the turnaround Splyce had from like the close situations they had in Map 2, from the very tough loss in Map 1 to come out in the CTF, just guns a-blazing, like right off the rip. I think they started out as a team on like an 11 or 12 kill streak, like literally had a 2-0 lead within the first like minute 15 seconds, and they just did not slow down. It was just a completely dominant performance.
Yeah, that one was pretty bloody. There's no other way to say
it was hard to watch, and that's where I was like, the camera was on me, my predictions. I just wanted to kind of like get out of frame. It was, I think they will be pretty embarrassed with that. That's not how UNILAD play CTF. That's not how, you know, one-sided it should be, especially with a sub. You know, Jerd on CTF, he's that guy who's going to make those plays, going to be the sneaky one. And Splyce just kind of ran through them with a sub. And yes, Felony's great again. But again, I was very disappointed from UNILAD's performance on that one, and I think maybe that S&D had the effect on it.
I think that S&D very much could have had the effect on UNILAD, but then that we do get all the way to a game number 4. This one's going to be a hard point on Gibraltar. Let's unpack this one, Chance.
Well, I think the main thing that comes down to me is UNILAD did play it pretty well overall, except for the rotations on the first set of rotations from hill number 2 to hill number 3. Splyce managed to get 35-40 seconds on the second hill, and then they completely outright win the rotation battle over towards this Castle Road hill, and that's where you see the largest gap in the game. They take a 60-point lead before the 4th hill even starts, but after that, the game was pretty close, and UNILAD did well. I think the second to third rotation, the next time around, they did a much better job of handling it. But once you find yourselves down by just an entire hill, it's going to take so much effort just to like claw your way back into it. So I think it's Gibraltar, man. Like if you mess up just one time on those rotations, it can cost you.
Yeah, I think that's undeniable about Gibraltar, right? There are just so many different things that if you lose those spawns, for example, on certain hills, the run back's just going to be egregious, and you can see massive amounts of hill time gained on the side of Splyce on both Courtyard, and they do really well on turret as well.
Yeah, I think, well, a lot of people always ask me, you know, what's my favorite thing about the job that I do. Of course, speaking about Call of Duty day in, day out is awesome, but the one thing in particular that I love is listening to the comms of a team and listening to a director, you know, a leader. And you get that, you know, from the likes of Clayster, you get that from the likes of Tommy. And Tommy in particular, it's the way that he's playing his own game. He's having a great game himself. His stat line's awesome. But at the same time that he's doing all this, he's directing, you know, his submachine gun player. He's saying, push this way, hold there, don't push, wait with the flag, don't use the streak share. And it's constant. And he's doing this all at the same time as him playing himself. And to kind of do that in tandem, it's just incredible to see. I think Tommy at the moment could have, you know, that title of is he the best player in Europe right now? A lot of people will be saying yes. It's going to be fantastic to look at Splyce, you know, if Jerd can get out here, how good they actually can be, because New Orleans, very disappointing. For me, from judging by the last couple of games I've played, they could be a very dangerous squad.
It's really interesting with Tommy as well, because Tommy was still this shot caller last year, but he was that shot caller for Wuskins, for Scraps, and Sunny B when that was the Fnatic roster. And one of the main things that we actually heard from him at the first event was that he was excited because he felt like with this team in particular, he could focus on himself a little bit more, being with some of the players that have a little bit more time actually being inside of the competitive scene. And you can see that working out for Tommy very well. But that